Hi there everyone, and welcome to the Automotive Life. We're looking at a very nice car today. This is a Porsche Cayenne GTS. I love the color, first of all. This is probably one of my favorite colors you get on the Cayenne. And with the GTS, blacked out wheels and other blacked out bits which make it look very nice. I've wanted to do a video on this car for quite a while because this is the facelift of this generation of Cayenne. And the biggest difference between this one and the previous GTS is the engine. In the older GTS, you got a V8 engine, naturally aspirated, so it had a very nice soul. The new one, they changed it, well, this facelift, from the V8 to a 3.6 litre turbocharged V6 engine. So today we're going to find out, was it a good decision? Was it a wise decision? And what do people think about it? Because this one here is a 2017 model, so it's been out for quite a while. This is the older shape, the new shape is out. In that shape there isn't a GTS yet, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the video. So as I just said, in the newer spec we have 3.6 V6 in the GTS with turbochargers. I know, very nice. So numbers for this car are 440 horsepower, 329 kilowatt and 600 newton meters of torque. Quite a bit more power from the older V8 version because turbochargers, they give you more torque and more power also. How it delivers that power is very different though. Let's take it for a drive and see what we think. Alright everyone, we are driving the Cayenne GTS. The GTS sits between the S and the turbo. So it's faster than the S, but not as fast as the turbo. But in the whole range of models you get, the GTS is basically the most driver focused, can I say? Oh, that sounds pretty nice. It sounds pretty good. So this car is more set up towards driving, such as twisty roads and corners and things. So it's slightly lower than the other Cayennes. It's a little bit stiffened up, a little bit harder. It's a bit sharper, that's the point of the GTS. It's not like the turbo, which has quite a bit more power, but handling capabilities are not as good. I mean, they're pretty good, but the GTS is just made to be better, So that V6 engine, it's a peach of an engine. It's very, very nice. We've got nice torque from about basically just under 2000 RPMs. We've got so much of torque, 600 newton meters in total, and this car has an 8-speed Tiptronic gearbox, which is very fast. Oh, that's very good. You get PDK also on the Turbo and Turbo S models. I'm not sure if you get it on these ones here, but honestly, the 8-speed Tiptronic is a great gearbox, very responsive, very smooth, and you can't really fault it, honestly. This car is pretty fast, 0 to 100 in about 5.1 seconds and a top speed of, they say, 260 kilometers an hour, which I believe this car is really quick. So because this car is turbocharged, it delivers the power very differently than a naturally aspirated car. A naturally aspirated car, the higher the revs go, the more power you get, the more you feel like you're going. With a turbocharged car, it's like well, you get turbo lag basically on turbocharged cars, but not on the newer ones like this car. It doesn't really exist. So you basically get most power from the get-go. So it's much more usable than the naturally aspirated, because that one there you could only use most of the power once you were wringing it out, and this one here you don't have to wring it out and you've got more power to use. They claim fuel consumption at around 9.7 liters per 100 Ks with this. I mean, obviously you're not going to get that consumption because it's very fun to drive and you're going to want to drive it more spiritedly anyway. So fuel consumption is not the strongest point, but then if you want fuel consumption, don't buy the GTS. But at least the V6 should be a bit lighter on fuel than the V8, but who cares? Alright, after driving this car, I've got to say, I've not driven an SUV. I have not driven an SUV that handles as well as this. Oh my goodness, this thing is brilliant. I drove the brand new X5. If you haven't watched that video yet, click up there and watch the review of that car. But this car is just so flat, and it's a very the interior in this car, it is typical Porsche. There are quite a lot of buttons everywhere, but everything's very well made, very well put together. The GTS has, you know, a little bit better bolstered seats. We get a bit of Alcantara on them also. They are very comfortable, very supportive, but definitely more sportier than the kind of seats you get in a turbo, for example. Is it a good thing? I think it is. It gives the GTS a bit more character, and at least it makes you feel like, you know, I'm not in any other Cayenne, I'm in the GTS, I guess. Basically, this car is very nice. You know, it's a practical SUV at the end of the day. You've got decent room at the back, you've got decent room in the boot, and it's a very comfortable car. Even though this car has adaptive suspension and everything, I'm driving it in Sport Plus and everything right now. It rides over bumps so well. It's very forgiving. And it's shocking because the suspension really is very comfortable, but the handling is ridiculously, like, I have no words. It's just so good. And the gearbox is really nice also. Look at that. You just can't take corners at those speeds with other SUVs. It doesn't matter what you drive. You just can't. It's just, there's no body roll. So we've spoken about everything that's good about this car, which there is most of, basically. Now let's speak about the elephant in the room. What about that V6 engine? As I said, it's a great engine, but like the owner of this car says, it's missing something. It's missing something. It doesn't, I don't know what it is exactly. With the V8, it felt more, I don't know. It felt like it had a soul, you know? It felt more human. It felt like, I don't know, it just spoke to you more, you know? With the V6, it's a brilliant car. But I don't know about the engine. It's a brilliant engine, I don't feel that it's necessarily more enjoyable than the V8. Yes, it might be scientifically better because it's faster, it's more efficient, it's lighter on fuel. But pure enjoyment and pure satisfaction, I still think the V8 does it for me. And a lot of people actually think that. A lot of people have complained and said, you know what, the Cayenne's great, but we just missed the V8, you know, in the GTS. So Porsche have listened. In the new Cayennes, you don't get the GTS yet, but in the new Panamera, they just brought the GTS out, and thankfully they brought the V8 back. So hopefully in the new Cayenne GTS, we'll get the V8 also. It's a near perfect car, honestly. I really don't think that I could fault this car. Even with the V6 engine, it's brilliant to drive. The handling is, and it sounds good. You think it doesn't sound good because it's a V6 and it's turbocharged. You'd be wrong. It sounds really good. That pretty much sums up the Cayenne GTS review. Is it good? No. It's fantastic.